right, let's just dive right in, because today we are tackling one of the biggest, most mind-melting questions you could ever ask. What if we're all living inside a giant computer program?
No, I'm serious. Just take a second and think about that. The people you love, your favorite memories, even the solid feeling of the ground beneath your feet. What if all of it was just data? An incredibly sophisticated, beautifully rendered illusion.
You know, this isn't just some late-night dorm room conversation. It actually has a name. It's called the simulation theory, and it's a pretty radical idea that basically questions everything we think of as real.
So here's the core idea, which was really popularized by the philosopher Nick Bostrom. He basically says that it's highly likely that some super advanced civilization out there would eventually create ancestor simulations, for research or maybe even just for entertainment. And if they can make one, they can make billions.
And look, this isn't just stuck in the world of philosophy anymore. You've got major tech figures like Elon Musk talking about it. His argument is pretty simple. Just look at how fast our own video games have evolved, from Pong to photorealistic virtual reality in just a few decades. If you follow that trend line, it seems almost inevitable that someone, somewhere, would create a simulation indistinguishable from reality. And if they can, why stop at one?
Okay, so I know it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but the arguments that people use to back this up are actually pretty fascinating, blending probability, physics, and a little bit of philosophy. We can really boil them down into three big ideas. So first, we're going to talk about the pure statistics of it all, the numbers game. Then, we'll look at some weird parallels between our universe and a computer program. And finally, we'll get into the truly bizarre stuff, the so-called glitches that show up in quantum physics.
So, the numbers game. Let's think this through. There can only be one original physical base reality, right? Just one. But if any civilization in that universe gets smart enough to create these simulations, they're probably not going to make just one. They'll make thousands, millions. And maybe the people inside those simulations will eventually create their own simulations. All of a sudden, you have billions and billions of simulated worlds, and only one real one. So just based on probability alone, where are you more likely to be?
And that brings us to the computer model argument. I mean, if our universe is a program, you'd expect to see some evidence, right? Well, think about this. A digital image has a smallest possible unit, a pixel. You can't zoom in any further than that. Our universe seems to have something similar. It's called the Planck length. It's like the universe has a fundamental resolution. And what about the laws of physics? Gravity, the speed of light. They're just these unbreakable rules that everything has to follow. Kind of sounds like program code, doesn't it?
Okay, and this is where it gets really, really trippy. Quantum mechanics is just full of things that make absolutely no sense in our day-to-day world. Like you have particles that are in multiple places at once until you look at them, or two particles linked across the entire universe instantly. Some people have wondered if maybe these are just processing shortcuts. Why render the exact state of a particle if no one is observing it? It's a way for the cosmic computer to save on processing power, a code optimization.
Now, of course, there's no way we can talk about simulation theory without talking about the one movie that made this whole idea famous, The Matrix. It's honestly the perfect metaphor for getting our heads around this whole thing.
The film just lays it out so clearly. You have the perceived reality, the Matrix itself. It's an interface that feels totally real, fed right into your brain. And then you have the base reality, the actual physical world. The simulation theory is basically saying that we are all inside that interface, and we have no idea that the real world running the program even exists. But The Matrix is so much more than just a cool sci-fi concept. It asks a really deep philosophical question, and it does it perfectly in that one iconic scene, with the character Cypher and a very, very juicy-looking steak. See, Cypher knows. He knows the steak isn't real. It's just a bunch of code, signals being fired into his brain. But man, does it taste good. And in that moment, he decides he'd rather have the amazing, delicious illusion than the miserable, painful truth. He literally chooses ignorance because it's bliss.
And this really gets to the heart of it. To your brain, the electrical signals for a simulated steak and a real one are identical.
The pleasure you feel is 100% authentic. So, if the experience itself is real, does it really matter where it comes from?
This choice puts two big philosophical ideas head-to-head. On one hand, you've got hedonism, which says the whole point of life is to feel as much pleasure and as little pain as possible. From that point of view, Cypher's choice makes perfect sense. But then you have existentialism, which argues that what matters is authentic experience, facing the truth no matter how hard it is. From that side, choosing a lie is basically giving up on what makes you human.
So, after all of that, what are the actual odds we're in a simulation? And maybe more importantly, how are we supposed to live our lives if this is even a remote possibility? Believe it or not, some scientists and mathematicians have actually tried to run the numbers on this. And while it's all highly theoretical, some of their models come out with an answer that is, well, shocking. They land somewhere around 50-50. It's basically a coin toss.
And this is really the key takeaway right now. The simulation theory is unfalsifiable. There's no test we can run from inside the simulation to prove we're in one, which means, for the time being, this isn't really a scientific question. It's a personal, philosophical one. It's about what you choose to believe about your own reality.
But let's just raise the stakes a little bit. What if base reality isn't just a bit tough? What if it's a place of constant, unimaginable suffering and despair? If you had a button to stay in a simulated world full of love and happiness, or go to that horrible truth, would you still press it? Is authenticity really worth it at any price? And so we're left with that, the ultimate question really at the center of both the Matrix and the simulation theory itself. There's no easy answer here. It forces you to decide what you value more, a beautiful, comforting illusion, or a potentially painful truth. It's your call.